Hi, my name is Alexandria, and well, it's been 5 years since I last made any of the episodes, and I'll tell you why, sadly. I just couldn't do it. I knew that the fifth episode would be me talking to the camera, being with you, and I completely just folded and turned into a turtle and avoided it like the plague, hid under my shell. And it's so sad. I cannot believe that I made those episodes 5 years ago. It felt like I made them 2.5 years ago. So that was a wake-up call. And I finally watched them. And there are some things that were cringe, I guess you could say. But I'm still proud of myself. I kind of ranted in some of the parts. You can't even hear me over the music. And, well, there were some things that I said that weren't really necessary. But I think I got the overall message across. Yeah, I knew that the fifth episode would be me talking with you. And like I said, I just avoided it. So 5 years later, I'm actually practicing what I preached in those videos, which is to choose love and not fear. And I chose fear. I failed basically the test that I was saying in the videos. But I'm here now to show that sometimes it might take a while, but you could always alchemize the fear and bulldoze through it and become your own. So here I am, and it's nerve-wracking, to be honest, to put myself out there. I've avoided it for the most part. I have done a couple on-camera things, but anyways, so in that last video, it's basically the darkness. Episode 4 was the fear. Which is funny that that's the last episode because I completely just became devoured by it after. But yeah, so it's about how we all have shadows, we all have fears, and that creates all the negative energy in the world. Hate, jealousy, revenge, spite, pride, greed, lust, everything, somewhat has to do with fear of abandonment, of loneliness, of not being good enough, of needing to prove yourself. We all have these fear-based notions from these like 4 core beliefs, which is I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. Those are like the main 2 that I can think of at the moment. And I really want to push through my own fear. If you guys want to come along with me, I hope to inspire you to do the same. Whatever dreams you have or anything that you want to move past as far as comfortability. I really believe in the whole yes theory and seeking discomfort. And I think I'm pretty good at it. I always put myself in situations that are uncomfortable. But for some reason, with this, which was like the biggest thing I wanted to do so bad, go on YouTube, I couldn't do it. It was like the thing that I yearned for the most and the thing that scared the hell out of me the most. Just being vulnerable and putting yourself out there, being in the public eye, like freaky. You just become a target to be judged. Possibly down the line you could lose your anonymity, which is precious to me. So there was a lot of fears going on and a lot of overthinking, but in the end, the things that I hope to gain from it, which is to grow despite my discomfort, and to finally have a platform to share all the things that I want to teach and entertain you guys with and just share. I'm definitely not a gatekeeper, so I have so much I want to give. Those outweigh the fears, you know. So, and there's so many other things, obviously, like opportunities that come your way, people that you get to meet. There's so much, and I realize, you know, the fears, sure, they're valid, but you can't live your life in fear and then never do the things that you want to do. You have to you have to look at the pros and cons and see that usually the pros and what's on the other side of fear totally outweigh those risks. So the darkness, the last episode was just about being in our shadow at like our lowest point. All those shadow aspects, all those fear aspects that I was talking about in there, and being in the midst of it. And what are some of the tools that we can do to get out of it? And it's basically choosing self-love, choosing love over, like I said, the dark, the low vibes and emotions. It's letting yourself feel those. Don't think that it's running away from them. You have to really feel into what you're feeling and embrace them in a way. Like if you're sad, you need to feel your sadness. If you're angry, you need to find a way to get it out in a healthy way. As long as it doesn't hurt yourself or others, you could release it. Whether it's screaming through a pillow, rage writing, screaming out in nature where no one's gonna hear you, punching something, an inanimate object that's not gonna hurt your hands. There are even rage rooms, which I'm excited to go and try out. I've always wanted to start one of those, and then I saw that now they exist, so that makes me pretty happy. Anyways, it's about honoring your emotions, and that's how you fully dissipate them. That's when they'll fully actually go away, instead of lingering in your body, lingering in your energetic system, and then they fester and they boil and then they blow after a while in a not great way, right? If I were trying to break it down into a nutshell, what I was saying in the last 4 episodes, and these are my beliefs. One thing about social media and the internet is everyone says everything so definitively, and that is dangerous because there's so much information going around with a lot of conviction, and not everything's true. You know, it's what people's opinions are, what they think or what they believe, but they're saying it as if it's the absolute truth. And that's just irresponsible if you're talking to the masses or just a public speaker in general, especially if it's contradicting information. It's like, who's actually right or not? What's true or not? How are we to know? You know? It's crazy. So I want to be, you know, responsible and say, hey, these are my beliefs. Sure, I have my beliefs for a reason, because of years of reading, research, listening to the best spiritual speakers. But I think what really convinced me in my spirituality, like I guess you could say, people call it New Age, is the basis of where it came from and originated from, which is, I mean, the beginning of civilization. It's some of the oldest teachings are religious texts, you could say, from the beginning of time. And what's also interesting is that there's different countries around the world, and they had no communication. And I think part of the credibility for me was that they all kind of had the same beliefs, the same stories, just with different names. And you go, well, how did you know, these two countries were on opposite sides of the world. They didn't even have communication then. So how do they have the same stories? Do I believe in the Bible? I believe that the Bible has a lot of truth in it, but it's so, I mean, let's just say the Vatican is hiding a lot of different parts of the Bible. Like, there's this much, and they left us with this much. And then it was rewritten by man. Then it was edited, and a lot of stuff was taken out and edited. And now we have pastors and priests from all over the world, yes, with good intentions, most of them, but they're all interpreting it in their own unique way. And I mean, that's where you kind of lose me too, you know. So I do think that there's a lot of truth in there, and there's a lot of metaphors. I think that a lot of messages in the Bible and a lot of writings are interpreted as being literal, and they're actually metaphorical and symbolic. So once you start digging into that, and it makes a lot more sense, and it's more logical. So I think for people that have existential curiosity, you seek answers and you do research and you explore and you observe and you find out what resonates or not, and then you start to find things that truly make sense. And you go, oh, yeah, actually this is a lot more practical, actually. And sure, things get really woo in the whole spiritual community and like New Age, but when you put all the pieces together, like if you watch Ancient Aliens, or if you, like I said, kind of look more into like the metaphorical meanings behind things, even written in the Bible, and you correlate that with different ancient religions and practices and beliefs, you go, yeah, that makes actually a lot more sense. When you go into Eastern philosophy, which is older than Christianity and Catholicism, ways of life like Buddhism and Taoism, Jainism, I mean, these were so old and ancient and beautiful. That's why I don't believe in religion. I believe religion was man-made because it was the government before government existed, like I said, and it was used for power to control people. And how do you control people? Through fear. That's the most powerful way to manipulate and control. So that's what they did, and they were very good at it. And there's so many horrors just in all our past centuries, on the basis of religion, you know, whether that was war or, you know, murder, scandals, abuse, sexual abuse. I mean, there's so much stuff, and it still goes on. And I don't want to say that it's all bad. There's a lot of, you know, religious leaders, I should say, that have good intentions and have good hearts, and they give good messages to people. And like I said in the episode, if it makes you closer to God and you feel good and your heart is open, then keep doing that. That's great. But I think if you're going to some religious, you know, brick and mortar, or listening to different messages online, or, you know, in person, and it makes you feel more hateful towards certain people, or prejudice, or just judgy, or you feel superior, like, oh, I'm going to heaven and these people are going to hell, like, no, that's just false BS to me, and it's not what I know of God, because from my understanding, God is pure love, and no one should feel like they're better than anybody or superior. And I get it because of the whole justification thing, or justice. Say, oh, that person did something bad, so they're going to hell. Or, oh, when I hear people say, oh, I hope they burn in hell, I just don't understand that. It's like, how can your heart be so cold, even if they did something terrible? Because our whole point in being here is to be Christ-like, or at least to use him as an example. And with Buddha and all our ascended masters, Krishna, Muhammad, like, they were beings of love, and they tried to teach that, but then corrupt people came and got their teachings and said, let's use this to make a religion and control people, and let's manipulate it. And that's what they did, unfortunately. But now the truth is coming out. We have gone through, a consciousness and paradigm shift, and the truth is starting to come out more and more through people, and people are getting awakened, and people are finding out the truth, which is that we're here to expand our souls, and we come here from our real home, which is heaven, and we want to learn what it's like to be separate from love. So we come here as humans, and like I say in the episodes, there are other life forms, many, and they're going to start to reveal themselves soon. But humans have the hardest mission, and that's why they call Earth the sane asylum of the universe, because no other creature has to go through the emotions and the ups and downs that we do in life. Just loss and grief and pain and just confusion, enslavement to the dollar. There's so much that we have to deal with here. But we come and reincarnate. And this is from, different religions, ancient civilizations in their texts, in records, Egyptian, Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism. There's this correlation of reincarnation, and we come down and we basically live different lives to experience different things. And each life we come down with a different theme and a mission and a lesson, our lessons. Sometimes we serve karma when we come down from our previous life. A lot of times karma is instantaneous and we experience it in the same life that we graded it, but sometimes it goes on into the next life. But we come down as different religions, different races, different economic classes, backgrounds, all kinds of various factors, and that's to expand our souls. We want to go through everything. So basically, when we're up there, we say, hey, I want to go down as blank, your name, and I want to live in this country, and blah blah blah. This will serve this purpose. Even where you live and your parents that you choose, it's all for a divine reason that will make sense once you find out on the other side. But anyway, so you say, hey, I want to go through this, and I want to go through this, and the council's like, hey, you can handle going through this car accident, but you can't handle losing your legs. You're not at that advanced soul level yet, So let's just, have you in the car accident and then you're in a coma for a month or whatever. I know this is a drastic example, but I'm just saying, because a lot of people get confused about what's free will, what's part of our chart, because we have a thing called a life chart, and it's where we kind of write the big things that happen in our life, the big milestones, whether bad or good, the good stuff too. But we tend to want to overexert ourselves, because on the other side, where we have pure love and it's basically heaven, we think we're so strong, and we're like, I can't wait to expand my soul in this way, so I want to go through this, and I want to do this and experience it. the council kind of knows what we're ready for or not. So they guide us. So you come onto Earth, but you don't go through anything that you can't handle. Your soul is very strong, but we have free will on how we react to things. So that's where our self-empowerment comes in. And we have to remind ourselves to choose, the path of integrity, and to choose, to be as pure as possible. Or, what would Jesus do? If that's what you believe, you might not have any context with him at all. But whatever leader or example that walks in line with the most integrity and pureness, that's what we're supposed to do here. And it's not easy, because we're human. We're here to, experience the whole physical aspect of life and the pleasures and whatnot. And so it's all about balance. Balance is definitely key, and integrity. Those two words are very, very important, and they are two keys that you can always have in your pockets to remind yourself to walk the best path forward, basically. But yeah, that's why we're here. Personally, a lot of people in the spiritual community, they don't want to come back to Earth. I mean, I don't want to come back. I want this to be like my last life. You know what I'm saying? Because life on Earth is not easy. It's hard. And it could be brutal. So, sorry, someone's looking at me. Anyways, but yeah, it's hard. So we're trying to overcome our karma and live our best life now in this life, so that we don't have to come back on Earth. Or if we do come back, we come with the least amount of karma as possible. So that's where our shadows come in. We all have shadows and weaknesses, and we want to basically integrate them and heal them so that we don't have to relive it in the next life. So that's why in the New Age community, where a lot of it's based on Eastern ancient philosophy, we try to walk the path of integrity and love, because that's the way to overcome karma the fastest and most powerful way. So any way you give back love to yourself and others will transmute that karma into purity, or where you don't have to serve it anymore in this life or the next. So that's pretty much the goal. Especially like a lot of religious people, they believe in hell, and in the New Age community, we don't believe in hell. We believe in karma. And sadly, a lot of people in society have to believe in hell in order to walk the righteous path. They need that fear, and it's unfortunate, because you don't need fear, you just need pure love, and you want to be good for God, and you want to live in heaven with God, so you don't want to come back down to Earth. And that's enough to, try your best to walk the path of righteousness and clear your karma. So that's pretty much that in a gist. And I'm still trying to overcome my shadows. I still have some, but I do something called shadow work, and I will talk about that in the next episode. So I'm going to have different playlists. I'm going to have my spiritual in one playlist, and I'm going to have music and film in another playlist, and something else in another playlist, but it'll all be on this channel. So you can come if you want to join me for one thing or the other, basically. And I appreciate whatever you choose. Thank you. And yeah, let's dive deeper into spirituality together.